Labour were dancing in the street, but shrugging off suggestions that they may not get an overall majority and may have to form a coalition.
We're not talking about coalition, we're talking about winning. Listening to these people in the street, not talking about coalitions. Winning and getting on with Labour's programme.
The Liberal Democrats are the most likely partners if there is a coalition, but they were busy toasting their own success.
I think we should leave such negotiation as is necessary when we've heard the command of the Scottish people in the ballot box to Friday.
The day didn't quite go according to plan for the Conservatives, but there's no doubting their views on coalition.
We are campaigning to maximise our position and influence in the Parliament, and you're certainly not going to get me backing anybody else.
The Nationalists attacked Labour's plans for building schools with private finance.
Privatisation by the Labour Party of schools and hospitals around Scotland.
With just one day to go, the Nationalists believe this is an issue which could help close the gap on Labour. Harry Smith, ITN, Falkirk.
In Wales, Labour flew in more support from Westminster in the shape of Chancellor Gordon Brown, who came to campaign in the crucial West Wales region to encourage Labour supporters to turn out on Thursday. His message, don't let Plaid Cymru in through the back door. The Nationalists have been encouraged by an opinion poll which shows them neck and neck with Labour in North Wales. The Conservatives are hoping that concerns about separatism and the Union will bring a last-minute surge for their campaign. While the Liberal Democrat leader in Wales launched himself into Cardiff Bay on a speedboat to show how his party is raring to go. But in a head-to-head debate between the party leaders in Wales, an opinion poll predicted Labour is on course for a working majority, while Plaid Cymru has leapt ahead of the Tories into second place, with the Liberal Democrats trailing fourth. But all the parties say that opinion polls have been wrong before, and there's still everything to play for. Tim Rogers, ITN, Cardiff.
Now our special report. Tony Blair will today become the first Prime Minister to address the British Muslim Council, and in his speech he'll make a renewed pledge to stop the atrocities against Muslim Kosovo refugees and allow them back to their homes. Meanwhile, the killings by the Serbs go on, as ITN's Bill Neely found out on Kosovo's border with Albania.
Day 42, and still they come. Driven out by the Serbs from the land they've lived in all their lives. The man in the blanket lived in Kosovo for 90 years. It's taken his family 2 weeks to get to the border. His great-grandchildren follow him out. Minutes behind him, 56-year-old Bislim has collapsed on the border bridge. He and his elderly parents have walked for 4 miles. He's mentally handicapped and cannot understand why he has to leave his home. But then no one here really can. After 5 weeks, this border is still witness to terrible accounts and to scenes of near hysteria.
The situation is very dangerous.
A few days ago, Diona Dako watched the Serb police come for her neighbours, the Hodja family, a music teacher, a physics teacher, their 4 daughters and 1 son.
They be in the home and police come in and they be in the down bedroom.
Basement. In the basement.
Yes, yes. And they killed nine all family, 9 people.
9 people in the basement.
Yes.
Random acts of brutality and calculated cruelty. This woman was told by border guards she had to choose between her 2.5-year-old twins. They'd only let one go across to Albania, the other would stay in Serbia. For hours she pleaded with them. They wanted money. She told them the police had robbed her of everything. A gold necklace was all she had left. Only after 4 hours did they give her back her twins. These children managed to cross the border. The Serbs sent their parents back to Serbia. They waited for hours, but their parents never came. My God, she says, they're going to kill them, I'm sure of it. They are all victims here of butchery or of whim. The Serbs control the fate and the flow of refugees, turning the tap on and off at will. Whatever NATO does in the air, on the ground, in there, the Serbs are the masters of people's lives.
People are terrorized, are frightened, well, not every day, but every moment.
The Albanians are a tough people, but there is no shame in tears here. and there are so many stories they cannot tell.
Now football, and Manchester...
8-hour trip to Europe, saying that he was willing to explore diplomatic avenues to end the conflict. But first, Serbian forces must withdraw, and an international peacekeeping force with NATO at its core must be allowed in. The UN Secretary-General Kofi Annan sounded upbeat last night after meeting the Russian envoy Viktor Chernomyrdin. He said a consensus that included Russia was emerging on fielding an international military force in Kosovo. Kofi Annan has also asked Belgrade for permission to send in the UN to assess the humanitarian situation in Kosovo. Serbian media overnight claimed a NATO warplane had been shot down near the Bosnian border in western Serbia. It came as the Yugoslav capital was once again plunged into darkness as NATO planes attacked power plants for the second time in 3 days. Serb authorities took foreign reporters to a premature infants institute, where they claim the lives of 70 babies are in danger because of the power cuts. Backup generators provide enough power to keep the incubators and oxygen machines going, but not those that monitor vital functions, forcing, they claim, nurses to give tiny children mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. Here at home, the government has dramatically stepped up its help for the refugees from Kosovo. So far, only 330 refugees have come to Britain. Nearly 10,000 have gone to Germany. Starting later this month, up to 1,000 a week will be arriving in Britain. The Home Secretary, Jack Straw, said there was no upper limit on the number we'd take. Tim Nielsen, ITN.
And that's all for now. GMTV.